Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another preview and predictions video. The team that we're going to be taking a look at today is our 2024 Oklahoma State Cowboys football team. We're going to do a complete preview of the entire roster, seeing what pieces they lost from last season, what pieces they're adding to this team this season, but also looking at their entire 2024 football schedule, trying to predict which games they're going to win, lose, and what we predict their final record will be. So go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will make sure to respond. So our 2024 Oklahoma State Cowboys. Vegas, just to kind of give us a barrier of what to base this off of, they have them coming in at 8.5 wins in the 2024 season. So kind of having a decent season, but they left off on a very high note last year, shed a strong foundation. So can they continue to build that going into this season? It's a new look Big 12. Texas is gone. Oklahoma's gone. So some of those foundational pieces that have consistently won the Big 12, they're now gone. But you're adding in Utah, you're adding in Arizona, Arizona State. So there's some new bigwigs coming to town. But Oklahoma State has been one of the perennial top Big 12 teams for the last 2 decades, mainly led by Mike Gundy, who's the longest tenured college football coach at one school in all of college football. The guy consistently, every single season, wins 9 to 10 games. Now, they started out last season really bad, had a really bad upset. But from that point, they consistently got better every single week through the end of the season. They did make it to the Big 12 championship game. They won 10 games last season. They had a great season. The team is led by Doak Award winner Ollie Gordon at the running back position. This guy went off last season. He was the best running back in all of college football. And this is a really veteran squad here. There's lots of returning production. So when you have a lot of experienced starters coming back, that sets pretty high expectations for that next season. Now, with those starters, there's a lot of people saying that Oklahoma State is as prepared as anyone to make another championship run to the Big 12 championship. With Texas and Oklahoma gone, the road is open. So can they find themselves atop the new look Big 12 going forward? Everyone this offseason, they were all trying to court Gordon. They were trying to get Gordon to transfer to their team. He spurned them all. He stayed loyal to Oklahoma State, stayed at Oklahoma State. Because he's there, possibly if you put this team on his back, you might even have playoff aspirations. 12 teams get in. Whoever wins your conference, you automatically get to bye. Perhaps that's going to be Oklahoma State this year. The biggest issue from last year's squad, in my personal eyes, was the quarterback, Alan Bowman. The guy's been in college for like 18 seasons. He just wasn't very good. He's a serviceable quarterback. He had 3,400 yards, but he had just as many interceptions as touchdowns. He has to cut that down. He can be a difference maker if they have a gunslinger at the quarterback position with Gordon at the running back position. Bowman did step up in the bowl game, though, had a very strong performance, so perhaps that's going to set up for a really good run this year. Oklahoma State, they do have a top 10 offensive line, mainly due to the amount of experience they have coming back on the line. That's going to help Bowman, and that's really going to help Gordon. Gordon had 1,800 yards rushing last season, 21 touchdowns. That's video game numbers. If he lives up to that level this year again, this team is going to be competing for 10 wins. The wide receivers, you have Presley, you have Owens, so there's no excuses for Bowman this season. He has the weapons there at the skilled positions. The defense is experienced as well. They have 10 starters coming back. The biggest issue is they weren't very good last season, but perhaps another year in the system, they're going to be better. We don't need a top 20 defense. We just need a top 60 defense. You have Martin, Daniels, Rucker, Exepo. You have a lot of guys on the defense who have a lot of snaps in this system. If they get better year by year, this team is going to be prepared to make a Big 12 championship run. So let's take a look at their 2024 schedule. They kick things off for South Dakota State on August 31st. This is always a tough game. South Dakota State, even FCS, you never want to underestimate them. They've made a lot of championship runs. But we're going to go with Oklahoma State, not starting out last year as bad as they did, but starting out this year with a win and winning this game pretty big. Let's say it's going to be a 42-24 game. They're 1-0. Saturday, September 7th versus Arkansas. So a Big 12 versus SEC matchup here. Arkansas, Sam Pittman's probably going to get fired at some point this season. They lost KJ Jefferson. They're just cycling through coordinators. Look for Oklahoma State to get the Big 12 versus SEC win. They're going to win this one 33-24. They're 2-0. Saturday, September 14th at Tulsa. Tulsa's been pretty competitive offensively wise for the last maybe 5 or 6 seasons, but they should not be able to compete with Oklahoma State and their running game. They're going to get another win here. This one's going to be 35-20, and they're 3-0. Then Saturday, September 21st, the new guy to the Big 12 versus Utah. The Utes, Kyle Whittingham, the second most tenured head coach in all of college football. Just like Mike Gundy, this team kind of mirrors Oklahoma State. They take 3 stars and they develop them immensely and put a great product on the field. This is going to be a top 15 team. They're going to have a top 20 defense. Cam Rising is back at the quarterback position. Some people are picking them to win the Big 12. It's usually split between them or Oklahoma State or Kansas State. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State losing this one just due to Utah's line here. If they won it, I would not be surprised, but I'm going with Utah winning the first matchup versus Oklahoma State. Let's put this one at a 28-24. They're 3-1. Then after that, Saturday, September 28th at Kansas State. They're coming off of a physical game versus Utah. They're kind of beat up. They're kind of banged up. Kansas State is also a physical team. They run the ball. They have Avery Johnson at quarterback, who's filling in for Howard now. They have a extremely well-coached team. They are probably going to win double-digit games this season. A very talented team. I have them losing this one at Kansas State. Kind of reeling coming off of the Utah game. Do not panic, though. Do not panic at all. Mike Gundy will get everything right. But I have them losing this one. Let's say 30-27. They're 3-2. Then Saturday, October 5th at West Virginia. This is actually a tough game. So Neil Brown's squad last season, I think they won 8 or 9 games. They came out of nowhere. Some people had him getting fired, but he completely developed that team. That team played really well. They have a lot of those starters coming back this season. This is the 8 or 9 win West Virginia team again, and they can run the ball. Oklahoma State could get caught in a 3-game slide here, but I have Mike Gundy getting the ship right. They're going to win this one in a close one. 28-27. They're 4-2. This Saturday, October 19th at BYU. BYU is always a tough place to play due to the elevation. Sometimes they have a pretty good squad, but Oklahoma State, they're starting to get things back on track, just like last season where they always finish with a strong second half. They're going to run through BYU. Let's put it at 44-28, and they're 5-2. And then Saturday, October 26th at Baylor, you have Dave Aranda's team here. He's also probably going to be getting fired at some point this season. He just has not developed his squad. They have a bad defense. That's a specialty, and they have a bad offense. They're going to blow through them 44-24, and they're 6-3. Saturday, November 2nd versus Arizona State, another new guy to the Big 12. They've just been completely shredded. They don't have a strong enough roster to be able to compete this season. Oklahoma State's going to beat them. Let's put it at a 37-20. And they're, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-2. The Saturday, November 9th at TCU. This is a potential slip-up game. Do not underestimate TCU based off of what happened last season. Obviously, the year before that, they made the national championship run. But last season, they were really banged up. They're going to be a lot better this year. There's going to be a 7 or 8 win team. They could catch you if you don't take them serious on a Saturday. But I don't have that being an issue for Oklahoma State. I have them beating them 33-28, so a close one. And they're 8-2. And then Saturday, November 23rd versus Texas Tech. You'd never want to sleep on Texas Tech. McGuire has a great team here, and they have a top 3 running back, just like Oklahoma State. The Big 12 is a very deep running back conference, so they could beat you if this turns into a shootout, if this turns into a slog on the ground. But I'm going to go with Oklahoma State as of right now, continuing to cruise, getting a win here, 37-28, and they're 9-2. Then Friday, November 29 at Colorado. Colorado, they might be fighting for a bowl game at this point. They might have already clinched the bowl game. They have a talented squad. Travis Hunter. They have Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, you have Deion Sanders at the helm. You have Pat Schumer on offense. But I have Oklahoma State just being the better, more experienced, deeper roster. Colorado's not very deep. They might be banged up. They might be down a couple starters here. Look for Oklahoma State to clinch a win here. I'm going to go 42-32, and they finished the regular season 10-2. So I'm going with the over on the Vegas picks of 8.5 wins. I don't think that's fully taking into account just how talented this squad is. I'm going with them going 10-2 and potentially competing for the Big 12 championship versus either Utah or Kansas State, getting to replay one of those games. And it's always hard to beat the same team twice. So that's our breakdown of the 2024 Oklahoma State Cowboys. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will respond. Thanks.